Hi everyone, this is Erin Fitzgerald. You might know me from Bo from the Storybots, Nazz and May Parker from Ed, Edd and Eddy, Chie Satonaka from Persona 4 Golden, Parasoul from Skullgirls, and so many more cartoons and video games that you might be familiar with. And you're watching In Conversation with ATF! I love In Conversation with ATF! Oh, I'm so excited! Oh, I better be quiet so we can get the show started!
Hello everybody, Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. My guest today is an actress, a voice actress, an Emmy nominee. you may know
that's the first time I've heard it like that.
Really? Oh my gosh, well I'm so glad to make it happen for you. You may know my guest as the voice of Bo in the Storybots franchise for Netflix, Black Canary, Vicky Vale, and more in Batgirl Year 1, Abbey Bominable, and more for the Monster High franchise, Raven Queen, and more for the not for the Monster High, the Ever After a High franchise. There we go, Ever After a High. There we go. Luna, the singing voice of Luna in Let's Go Luna. Yeah, I kind of dinged it up anyway.
You've
you
done
know
some research.
Oh yeah, just me. I always do my homework before I have people on my show.
Good job.
Nazz and May Parker in Ed, Edd and Eddy, and other shows such as, well, We Bare Bears, Lego Friends, The Jungle Bunch, Polly Pocket. I've just banged my elbow there. That's not didn't feel great. A lot of anime as well, including the Persona 4 franchise, the Naruto franchise, and animated. She was in Turning Red as well. She was an additional voice in Eternal Red. Eternal Red.
Eternal Turning Red.
Oh dear. That's the version we don't talk about.
It's because we were just talking about turtles, so that eternal turtles turning. It's all
red turtle, and other such work in anime franchises and more. And did I mention that she's an Emmy nominee? My guest is Erin Fitzgerald.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on my show, honestly. Like, I've wanted to have you on my show for a very long time, and I was like, I've got to ask at the right time. And as soon as you were announced in the Emmys, I was like, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. This is like
this feels like a dream. You keep saying the word Emmys, and I keep going, are you talking about me? Oh, okay, that's funny. Okay. All right. Well, I'll get used to it, I'm sure.
Last time I'm gonna mention it, Erin. Okay.
It's okay. No, I need to get used to it. It's fine. It's real. Apparently. We keep talking about it. That must be real.
How did you feel when you found out you got nominated? Who told you? Did you find out for yourself?
I know the word shock is what people use, but like, because the creators texted it to me. Evan and Greg, the creators of the Storybots, Evan and Greg, they texted it with a screenshot of some word. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, okay, what is it? And then they kept texting, explaining what it was, and I'm like, so immediately, as you do, I put it onto Twitter for validation. I'm like, is this real? Or is somebody trolling the creators? Like, is my name on this? Because I went to I did go to the Emmy website to look, but I couldn't figure out how to find the list of nominees. Like, it was some sort of secret locked puzzle of the labyrinth from 1,000 years ago. I couldn't find it. So then I posted on Twitter. I'm like, can somebody confirm this is real? And so luckily Twitter is excellent at that. And I got multiple confirmations. And then the Children and Family Emmys tweeted at me with an official card with my name on it. And I went, oh, and that kind of was like, okay, I think I can tell my mom at least, right? Like, I feel like that's confirmation. Yes, we both talk for a living. That's confirmation I can tell my mom. So called my sister, my mom, and was like, I think this is real. This is happening. And they were very excited. And then, and of course, my best girlfriends. And I had to invite my best girlfriend to be my date. And I'm like, I don't know if there's a thing that you go to, and I don't know if we're going, but if there is, do you want to go with me? Because she was on the show too, Misty Monroe. And so I was like, so we were chatting, and she was like, "Oh, we were getting it again." It made me feel like I was 14, just pretending. Like, oh, and then one day we're gonna go to the Emmys, and then we'll get dressed up, and we're going. So we were kind of talking like that because that's how it still kind of feels. And yesterday, my agent got an official email asking if I was planning to attend and giving me the dates and the whereabouts and saying there will be a car that will come pick me up. So that felt more real. And then it kind of like went, whoa. So yesterday I had that, whoa, because in that moment, I felt myself sitting with the other people on the list and thinking, just to get to sit with all of those names in the same room for art we've created, that kind of sunk in a little bit. And to be able to do that with my best girlfriend, again, still feels like a dream state, but it's starting to sink in. So I suppose once I have a fancy out, which I don't have, I own t-shirts. So I don't know how, it says formal attire. So I have to figure that out, I think. Don't know what that's going to look like. So that might be the biggest thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life. Probably, yes. I'm going to say yes. I feel like yes.
Yeah, great way to put it. And we're back. Yes, I've just had a look on here as well. It says the Emmys that you're nominated in, the 17th of December at the Westin Bonaventure Hotel in Los Angeles.
Apparently.
Yes. Oh my gosh, like this is gonna sound really silly, but I'm an avid GTA 5 player, and just seeing the outside of the Westin, it's like it looks like a building in GTA, and I'm like, I'm not prepared.
Hey! Well, that's good to know. I'll keep my Fortnite shooters ready.
Yeah. Oh my,
GTA, I play Fortnite. Sorry.
So good. I'm not being funny. Like
I haven't looked. I don't want to look and scare the pants off myself. I can't. I don't want to. Is this real life? We'll see. Okay. Yeah. This is exciting. First of all, Amber, thank you for sharing this moment with me, because this is the first time outside of my circle of friends that I'm sharing this moment with someone, like other than my friends and my family. So this is feeling a little bit more real because you're a person I just met.
Yeah.
And I'm
on the other side of the pond.
So this must be okay, so it feels really cool. So even if I don't know what to say. I'm kind of thank you. This is pretty neat.
You're welcome.
This is really neat.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I'm looking outside the Westin. I'm just thinking, I am in Los Angeles in March. So to think that I'm going to be in front of all these buildings and stuff that I know from a video game, I'm thinking, wow, they based a real life city on a video game.
It's nice when they do that. I do. It makes you feel like you're traveling when you're playing games, right? I like the feeling of traveling. Yeah. And then when you get there, you're like, I know this place. That's pretty cool. Well, I know which street to go down.
Yeah, I know that pier over there. That's the Del Perro Pier. It's the Santa Monica Pier, but you get what I mean.
Oh, well,
but
wow. I live near it. Don't know what it's called.
Santa Monica. It is Santa Monica. It's just like,
Santa Monica.
I looked at a map of LA, and like you don't realize how big it is until you see all these little parts like Santa Monica.
Huge.
And then like just like and Torrance, like wow, what's going on here? It's just you're thinking, wow.
Yeah, like it takes me 40 minutes to get to work if it's in the valley. Like it's just, and that's using a freeway. I have a hair that's tickling me. It's driving me.
That's okay. That's okay.
So yeah, it's a really strange city. It's sprawling is the word that many people use. And I do feel like it's a lot of cities under the umbrella of one city. Because you drive 5 minutes and you feel like you're in a totally different neighborhood, and it feels like a totally different city.
Yeah.
In a great way. I mean, so that if you feel like you're tired of your neighborhood and you want to move to a new city without leaving LA, you can literally just move 20 minutes away and you'll be like, oh, this is so fresh and new. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of Emmy nominees, sorry, should I stop saying that? It just seems so fun to say, just Emmy nominee, and it's
not mad at you.
It's a lovely title to have. Yeah, speaking of Emmy nominees, last year, someone who we have both met in real life and is probably one of the sweetest voice actors I've ever met was also nominated in one of the categories last year. Unfortunately, he didn't win in his respective category, but he is still a winner to me nonetheless. Frank Welker, I believe you met him a few years back.
Yes. He's so sweet. He is the sweetest sweetie pie of sweetdom. Yes, I adore him. Who doesn't though? Come on, it's Frank Welker. He raised all of us. He raised me.
That's why I had my camera off like briefly at the start, because he's in my profile picture.
So cute. I love that photo. It's a great photo.
So great. He was nominated.
Yeah, he is. He is. He really is. Him and Bill Farmer are just like love balls extraordinaire. Like, oh, and actually, I'm gonna put Fred Tatasciore in that category as well. Those three are the biggest, sweetest, squishiest hearts of love and awesomeness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why is it not working? Hang on, I'm just trying to make the lighting in my room a bit. There's Bill up there. I've met him as well.
Hey, oh, you can't go wrong with Bill.
I know, and I haven't met Fred. He was meant to do a Comic-Con over here a few years back, and I was meant to be going to see him, but unfortunately he cancelled. But I'm trying to get him on my show. We're in the process of arranging it. I had to cancel the first time,
good.
But he's just so sweet.
I know he's had COVID this week, so
Sorry,
yeah, it's
Lily let one out then.
Yeah, I was supposed to see him tomorrow, but he had to cancel due to COVID.
Oh my
unfortunately.
God.
Yeah, we're doing a charity event tomorrow. Well, I'm doing it now.
Oh yes, the Christmas Carol thing I've seen on his
Combat Radio Christmas Carol reading to raise money for social services and children's hospitals.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool. Wow. So is that like a live reading then?
It's a live reading with a ton of celebrities, including this year, Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman, I've met him as
well. Like I'm telling you, like every year, like last year, Keith David did it. Every year it's a spectacular. So it'll be, and Fred and I did the Foley last year, and it was going to be Fred, Roger Craig Smith, and myself this year, but Fred's sick, so it's going to just be me and Roger doing the Foley, which is it's going to be very fun.
So what is doing Foley? What is?
Oh, it's the sound effects. It's live sound effects. So people are reading their script into a microphone, and Roger and I will be making all the noises that make you think you're actually there.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, that's quite cool. That is quite cool.
It's really fun.
Let's just try it.
Sound related. We're very into it.
So you're basically doing Frank Welker's job.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but obviously, like, it's just, man, I was just saying, as all these kind people, Fred, I haven't heard from him recently. I think the last time I spoke to him was when I congratulated him for being nominated for an Emmy.
Which he was last year last year or the year before? He was, not last year, the year before he was.
Oh, wow. I must have forgotten. Unless it was the same, Children and Family Emmys. I don't know. But, I think it was. A few weeks.
No, children. I don't know. I can't keep track. But I know he got a nomination for Storybots. I don't think Storybots we didn't make the cut for the submissions for the Emmys last year, so it would have been the year before, I think.
Ah, right.
For the Storybots, I imagine.
Oh no, he was. Wait, no, he wasn't. Oh no, it just says on his Wikipedia page that he was nominated for an Emmy, but it's this year, so I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah,
he's just so. I had a really rough turn a few weeks back, and I felt like my mental health just went really bad. So I was like to Fred, look, I can't talk tomorrow because my mental health.
Oh, good for you for doing self-care. Yeah,
I always have to. I mean, just like I have these.
Yeah, no, everybody should. Everybody should, but so many people from my generation don't. So it's so great to see people doing it because when you do it for yourself, you're giving someone else permission to do it for themselves.
Yeah.
And we forget that we have permission to do that, at least my generation, because we were kind of told just do it anyway.
Yeah. And honestly, I said to him, yes, I can't really talk and I feel just awful and all over and stuff. And I don't, really feel myself just explaining my mental health. And I think I remember him saying, like, not on the phone, but on text, he said something like, I'm sorry, like, to hear you're feeling that way. If you need anything, please let me know. And I was like, holy fuck, that is so... I've never had a voice actor say that to me before. And I'm like, man.
Yeah, that's Fred.
I've tried so long to get in contact with him.
I'm telling you, Frank Welker, Bill Farmer levels of absolutely adorable sweetness and kindness that makes you melt into 1,000 puddles. Yes.
Yeah. I think that just changed my perspective on him for the better, obviously, because, you know, just...
Yeah.
I've never had a voice actor say that to me before. And when he says that, I just feel like, oh my God, that is just, wow.
Yeah.
Fred, thank you. So yeah, I've been trying to reach him now for about like 2 years, and now I now feel just really relieved that I'm talking to him and stuff, and I can't wait to get him on my show. I had to cancel because I was at a theme
park.
Gonna
enjoy it.
I had to cancel last month.
He's so funny. He's so funny. He's just always on. It's so much fun. It's so much fun working with him. It's so ridiculous. We just laugh the whole time. Laugh till we cry, do ridiculous things. And we do echolele off each other. So he'll make a strange noise, I'll make a strange noise, he'll make a strange, and then we'll just build like we can't. Oh, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
That sounds like so much fun. Oh, I'll text him after we finish recording just to see how he is and just say, hi, I spoke to Erin. Get well soon. Yay. It's so great. Whereabouts did you meet Frank Welker? Because I saw the selfie that you two did together, and you put it on your Instagram account, but it looked like it was at like a theatre or something.
I've met him a couple of times.
Oh, right. Okay.
I feel like the first time I met was a combat radio event, another charity event for the same charity. Like, I work with this charity every year. And that was the year they were doing a live reading of Scooby-Doo, I believe. And I was put on the cast with them at the charity event to step in and fill in for one of the characters. So it was most of the cast. And I think I was Velma, stepping in for Velma. And so I think that was the first time I met him. And then I think I've met him at local conventions. Like we're both working and then we've seen each other, but that's about it. No, and then there was another one where I was with, okay, it's LA, right? So you bump into each other. So I remember.
Now I can't wait to go.
There's an amazing musician named Chuck Duran. And he's in the show, in Sugar Rock, Sweet Rock, Rock Sugar. He's in that band, and of course we all go out to, and I'm good friends with Chuck and his wife Stacy, and so the entire voiceover industry went out to go see their concert, and Frank was there, and I remember, and Erika Ishii was my date. And we had shown up, and I ended up in a picture booth with Frank Welker and Andrea Romano. And I look, these are all very weird, vague. My ADHD memory is putting pieces together, but it is common to bump into each other when you work in the same industry, right? So it is very common. So I think those are some of the moments that I can remember.
Sounds good. I'm quite jealous. I really want to go to a concert as well. Like, it seems like everyone, because I know Chuck, like, he does like Beer Buzz Weekly. He's done a lot of people's demos and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. That concert was amazing. It was so good. We danced our pants off. It was wonderful.
Oh my gosh, that sounds really fun. Oh man. Now I can't wait to come over. Now I just want it to happen. Like, right now I've got to wait another 100 days and then I'll be over there. It's so close. Oh man,
it is.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, good for you.
Thank you, Erin. So I've got it right. I'm in a Discord server, and there are a lot of people in there who are huge fans of Storybots. That's for Storybots. Storybots out of time.
So much. We're very happy to have people who like the show.
Yay! So I asked them if they had any questions for you, and I've got some in. Right? You ready? It's only two. But yeah, get ready to answer them. So my best friend Aoife wants to know, how was Super Silly Stories with Bo recorded with all like the children and stuff? Were the kids' reactions scripted or was it all improvised on the spot? Were they all recorded over Zoom? How was
What
that?
a great question! Such a good question. So, for Ask the Storybots and for Storybots Answer Time, they had or was it just Ask the Storybot? No, it was both. The creators have Storybot puppets that would meet it like children whose parents submitted them to ask a question, and so they would set up kind of like interviews, and a puppet would interview the kid to record their questions for the Storybots, and all of that was recorded. So they record everything, and there were lots of children that had interviews, and honest, it's Jeff Gill who plays Bing, who runs the interviews, because he's one of the the writers, producers, directors on the show. So he would run the interviews, and he would have these conversations with these kids that would go anywhere. They could go anywhere. They would go and go and go. So those interviews, there was so much footage of those interviews, just so much footage that I believe when the director Henry Dalton, who is the director for Super Silly Stories with Bo, he pitched the idea of just creating stories around the interviews that they already had recorded. So, and on parts of interviews that nobody has seen from children they hadn't seen. And there was a lot of new interviews done for Storybots Answer Time. So the interviews that weren't used for Storybots Answer Time, they were all kind of handed to Henry, and Henry would take similar subjects that different interviewees had and edited them all together, and with Scott Eamon and like just the amazing team, writer, director, they would craft an entire story around what the children had already said. So the entire series, which was only supposed to be 2 or 3 3-minute episodes, that's what I was told going in, like it's just going to be a little one-off, they're going to put it on YouTube, ended up becoming a 25 episode series that they put on YouTube, and it was amazing. So every episode they would show me like the clips of the kids, and I was dying laughing. And even my niece is in one of them. She is in the time machine episode. She's the little girl who drew the time machine, and then Henry and the team put her drawing as the animation for the time machine for the entire episode.
Wow.
It was just, look, I was so excited that they even wanted to do the 3 little episodes with Bo, but when it ballooned into such a big thing, it was so amazing. It was just like the genius of the team of people putting this together, like Henry and Scott, like chef's kiss to them, because it was just so special that they made this whole thing, and it seemed so perfect for Bo, and it was so funny, and I got to do so many character voices, and yeah, it was amazing how they put that together. It wasn't something that it was almost like, I would call it an animated mosaic. You know how mosaics are, broken dishes that are kind of broken up more, and you make something new out of them. Well, that's what it was. There were interviews that were never going to be used, pieces of interviews that were, and they broke them up and put them together and made a whole series out of it. It was just kind of genius.
It's like reusing them. It
was brilliant. We're just using them instead.
It don't go to waste.
Those interviews. Yeah, because the kids are so cute and they're so sweet, and what they talk about they're so funny. I'm so happy that they got showcased. I'm really happy that these kids got showcased. They deserve it. They were so sunshiny.
Yeah. I just watched an episode before I joined this. I started the Zoom call, and I think like they were at a party and they were eating. One of the kids suggested that they were eating toast, And then Bo was like, "What is on the toast?" And he's like, "Nothing." And so everyone just goes silent. And I'm like, "Nothing." And then they just start quietly. You just hear them just munching on this toast. Just very everywhere else is silent. It's just them just awkwardly eating toast.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, that show is a mental health show. If you're having a bad mental health day, the wholesomeness and the heart of those kids, that puts me in a great mood for the rest of the day watching these little kids. Like, I love watching that show. Just, I mean, outside of that, I get to be in it. Yeah, sure. But even if it was Bang, I would watch that show, right? Because it's just so cute. All those little kids telling their little stories and it being so sweet. It's just so sweet. I love wholesome, uplifting content. I can't help it.
Yeah, I should have really watched it a few nights ago. I wasn't really having a great evening. I was like, I should have just watched Super Silly Stories with Bo. It would have probably made me better.
That might help before bed, at least. So at least you can get some sleep.
Oh yeah, I go to bed in about an hour, so I'll do it then.
Idea.
Yay! That's bedtime sorted.
That was a great question, though. Thank you.
You're welcome, and hopefully Aoife will love that response. Honestly, because
thank you, Aoife.
This next one
Thank
comes
you,
from
Aoife.
So that was completely unscripted from me. I just kind of just like, oh, I've never done that before on an interview. Do forgive me.
I think it's healthy.
Oh God.
Everybody should get excited. Especially for your friends.
Oh yeah. I've gone all red in the face. Oh no. Okay. This next one comes from my best friend Chris, and he wants to know, what was your favorite episode in any of the Storybots series, probably including Super Silly Stories? What was your favorite episode of any of the episodes?
I feel like that's a really difficult question. Okay, wait. Okay, so wait. If you're talking to Erin personally, like, if you want to know what episode I watch over and over and over and over and over again because I can't get enough of it because it makes me laugh every single time.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the Super Songs, Storybots Super Songs. And I think it's episode 5, Farmyard Animals. And it has these amazing classic hip hop songs that they turned into farmyard songs. That is probably my go-to episode to watch over. And I don't think Bo's in it at all. Like, I don't, maybe a little bit, but it's like those songs make me so happy. They're so funny. I love them so much. And there's the interrupting cow at the end of the episode that Fred does that just has me dying. Like, that is my comfort episode. That's my comfort episode. So that has to be my favorite episode. It has to be because I watch it all the time. Now, that's me, Erin, as a audience member. If just me watching, that's the one that my favorite. My favorite one to do of all time is the Christmas special. The Christmas special, because there was Santa and because Bo thought her friends didn't like her gifts. And then she was like, oh, I'm the worst gift giver in the world. And then she went to go and talk to Santa about it. And Santa was having a bad time with it too. And the two of them were commiserating about not being able to give good gifts anymore. And I'm just like, I think it is the sweetest episode I've ever been a part of. And I'm so proud of that special. It's just so sweet and wonderful. So as Bo, I think that's my favorite episode. But there is a bucket list thing that happened for me, where my favorite voice actress for me has been Candy Milo. She has been someone I've always looked up to. That when I was in a really dark period in the early 2000s, her performance as the Flea really kept my mental health kind of afloat. And she's such a genius performance. Like, she's a genius character actress. Her body of work for me is like exceptionally top tier, and I don't feel that people recognize how diverse her characters are. And there's just not a lot of women that are showcased as character actresses that can do such a wide range of characters. There's just not a lot. And Candy was my go-to, because I feel like she and I had the same sense of humor, and I just look, I'm a huge fan. And so the creators of Answer Time asked me if there was anybody I really wanted to work with. Candy Milo would be a dream. So there's an episode in Answer Time of Where Does Sand Come From? And there's amazing scene between Bo and this crazy cat lady, and the cat lady is played by Candy Milo. So even though we recorded it during the pandemic and I didn't get to be in the room with Candy, which is the little bit of a heartbreaker, technically we're in scenes together over and over again. And so that was like my getting to work with Candy moment, which I ended up doing a lot that year. And I was so excited. And then I got to meet her at the wrap party. And so that's like a bucket. So yeah, I guess there's 3. I have 3 for different reasons. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the question. Yeah, I hope that helped. I'm pretty sure it was pretty confusing. But what are you gonna do? I can't just pick between all my best friends.
Right. I'll tell you what, right? I have a niece and a nephew. My nephew is 5. My niece, she's not even a year old. But I'm going to stick on Storybots for them when they next come over or when I next go to their house.
Wholesome! It's such a fun... Look, the creators made it so that parents would stay in the room with their kids when they were watching a show. They made it so that it would be entertaining to people of every age. The goal was to create something that had the same feeling as something that Jim Henson would create, because grown-ups and kids could enjoy it together. That's what, and there's 2 characters in Answer Time that are on a rowboat, and they're played by Frank Oz and Dave Girls from Jim Henson Company that they created with Jim, and they were recording. And I believe this is true. They had stopped and they said, Jim would have really loved this about Storybots. And that's all the Storybots creators ever wanted, was to create something that Jim Henson would find in alignment with his own mission. And I think they did. I really think they have. So I think watching it with your niece and nephew, you'll enjoy it. And it won't be just an act of love of you watching something with them, but I do think you'll get something out of it too. I think every episode is crafted so that everyone in the room can enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, like, I'm not in the preschool demographic, but any sort of kids shows.
Me neither.
Like, just beautiful.
I still watch Clarence on repeat. I love Clarence. That's my favorite from Cartoon Network. I love that show. Really? It's such a good show.
I love I like the Hanna-Barbera shows and the 90s Warner Brothers shows. Another level, like Batman the Animated Series and Superman the Animated Series. I know. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, wow, just a completely different time. I was born in the wrong era. I was born too late. I was born too soon, as in for Storybots. Right, so after a nice 15-minute long conversation, we are back. Erin, I'd love to know, right, because you started out in Canada. Well, of course, I know how you moved from Canada to America, but like, what sort of sparked that choice inside of you? Because obviously you did a
romantic relationship.
Oh, really?
I had no intention of coming to America. Amber, I was not coming to America. I was fine. I had a huge career in Canada, doing very well in Vancouver. My cartoon career was, taking off. I was doing quite well. Video games had just started. Like, I think I had done one video game. It was 1999. And I met someone, and it was romantic. And they wanted me to go with them because they were moving to LA and I didn't want to. But I had a number within a year's time, I had a number of very specific, I'm going to call them frying pan over the head moments, where the universe was saying, go, go, go. My Canadian, and I don't know if it's the same for you in the UK, but in Canada, it's not encouraged to move to America. Like it's very much like, why would you go there? They have guns everywhere. It's dangerous. Don't go to America. So it wasn't on my list of to-do things. I was perfectly fine being an actor in Canada for the rest of my life. But so the romantic interest was step one to get me there, and then a number of very specific kind of private experiences that I'm going to call waking dreams were very loudly spelling it out for me, go. So I don't know about you, but when the universe is loud like that with me, I just listen. I've learned just to listen. And I was young, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, because the last one was so loud and so specific. I didn't understand why, but I did. I followed. So I thought, and honestly, because I'm Canadian and very much, it's a lot of that tall poppy syndrome that I know the UK has as well, in Australia, that comes with socialist countries sometimes, whereas everybody wants the poppies to be the same height. If one poppy grows a little bit tall and is a little bit pretty and a little bit, they need to chop that down so that everybody's the same. So I definitely had that kind of mentality, and I thought, and I was also told by someone I worked with that when I decided to move to LA, they were like, "Oh, you're never going to work in LA. You're not going for work, are you? The only reason you work here is because you're cheap."
How
I was
dare
told that
they?
to my face by a man who was older than me.
Oh,
and
that's not fair.
But here's what I've learned. People can say anything to you, and if you don't believe it somewhere within yourself, what they say won't matter. If I didn't believe that somewhere within myself already, it wouldn't have hit so hard. If I had full self-confidence in myself and absolute knowingness of like, oh, I can do anything I want to do, what he said, I wouldn't even remember that he had said something like that. But because he spoke out loud, probably what my voice had already been telling me quietly, it seemed really loud. And I held on to that sentence for a really long time. So it really wasn't about the person who said it. It was more about something that was also ingrained in me as a Canadian girl, young woman. So when I moved to Los Angeles, I gave up acting because I thought, oh, I'm never going to get work here. I can't compete with the talent pool in Los Angeles. I'm not the best of the best in Canada. There are so many people who are much more talented than me in Canada. And the patriarchy was strong in the 90s, and most of the talent were always men, definitely not women.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved here. The romantic relationship was not going well. But that forced me to really look deep. I did like a number of jobs that weren't acting related. I did elder care, and I worked in catering, and I did all sorts of jobs that were just kind of to pay to survive. And out of the blue, my agent from Vancouver called me and said, there's a video game looking to hire you. They heard you're in LA. And that game got me my work visa. It got me into the union. And the director of that game, Margaret Tang, took a liking to me and started hiring me for other projects and referring me out. And then I met someone on one of her projects named Yuri Lowenthal. Actually, no, it was a Sue Blue project. It was Sue Blue. Sue Blue hired me for a job, and I sat next to Yuri Lowenthal.
What job was that for?
I don't remember. Yuri swears it's one thing, and I swear it's another, and so neither of us know exactly what the show was. Yuri and I are in like 50 titles together. Good luck finding it.
Well, I'm able to identify
but I
the
remember
super
that
titles.
it was an animated series, and we were just kind of like additional characters, and I can't remember who else was in the room with us. I remember taking a paper clip and folding it and handing it to him, and then he folded it. And like I remember knowing in that moment that I had met my brother. Like I just felt like he was my brother. He felt like a relationship of family to me.
I think I found it.
Please tell me.
Atom, Alpha Teens on Machines.
That's what I have told him. I think it's that one.
Because Susan Blue voice directed. You and the Yuri were on it.
I said that to him. I'm like, I think it's this. I think it's this because yeah, anyway, I think it's that. Yeah, so clearly it was that. And I'm not crazy. So that was it. Anyway, so I met Yuri that day, and we were an instant family kindred spirit connection, and Yuri walked me into a number of other possibilities. So my whole career exists because of Margaret Tang and Yuri Lowenthal specifically, and Sue Blue was a huge part of it as well. In those early years of establishing myself in America when I didn't think I could. And then, of course, you know, nobody in America gave a crap about my Canadian credits. So, because Ed and Eddy was made in Canada. So I had to rebuild my whole career from scratch. So all the hard work I did building my career in Vancouver kind of got deleted. And I had to start from square one again and rebuild it from scratch. But there was a beauty to that. Oh, this conversation feels very important to me, Amber, because going back and thinking about that, I might cry. Sorry.
It's okay. Just take your
going
time.
back to thinking about doing, I did feel very lucky when I was in Canada, and how my career blossomed and showed up was so almost divine. In a lot of miracles happened and things, and being in the right place at the right time. And I had my very first demo I got in a contemplation. I was singing the Hue, and I was almost shown exactly how to put a demo together in the 90s when we didn't have any of this. And it was like I had to use a DAT to it was crazy. It was like given the keys to the kingdom. So part of me, I felt like in Canada, I didn't know if I had earned it. I didn't know if I deserved it. I was second guessing it. And moving to America and having to start from scratch, which again, crazy miracles happen to get me, like miracles are happening to get me back into doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I needed that to happen to know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I needed all of that to happen to know that this is my destiny and this is what I'm supposed to do. Because I kept not understanding my inner communication with the universe has been, how can I serve life? If I'm here to serve and to learn how to give and receive love with others, because I think Earth is a school to learn how to love. How am I doing that? Doing cartoons. I didn't know if that was a real thing. I thought maybe I should. There are people who are saving lives. You know what I mean? Like there are teachers who are changing lives. How is doing what I'm doing important? I don't understand how it matters if I want to be of service, right? And and that's been a theme in my wanderings for years. So miracles happened to get me my career back. And I was in the middle of a job called Wild Grinders. It was on Nicktoons. Yuri was in that. Yuri and I paired together. And I remember there was an actor in it. His name is Kel Mitchell. He was on a hit series called Keenan and Kel on Nickelodeon back in the day. Yeah, and he's insanely talented, man. And I remember he was standing up, it was his lines and his character was talking. And I even have it, actually. Hang on. Give me a second. I'm just going to walk over here and get this piece of paper.
She's disappeared. She's gone into the ocean.
I know, right? I bet it's right here.
Come for a
Where is
swim.
it?
Mm.
Do I still have it? I know I have it. Where did it go? Maybe I don't have it anymore.
Oh, where did it go? Where did
Oh.
you go, Erin?
No, I'm here. I'm here. I know you can hear
Okay.
me.
Ah.
No, but I have it. I usually keep it in my booth.
Mhm.
He read a line.
Mhm.
Maybe it's in here. Nope. I don't know where it is. I have the script still. I had the script still because he's a very spiritual person. He's connected to his own spiritual path. And I was sitting there wondering that question. I'm like, I can't believe I get to do this. I can't believe I get to do this. I can't believe, like, why do I get to do this? How am I even the best person to do this? Are there people who, like, I wonder about all of that. I was wondering about that. And Kel Mitchell stood up and he read the lines from the script that went, and the yak named Fitzgerald will bring the purest waters from the top of the mountain to the people. And I stood up and said, what? And nobody heard me. Nobody saw me. And he had to do the take a couple of times. I'm looking at the script. I'm like, what? Because I'm my last name is Fitzgerald, and people tell me I talk a lot. A yak named Fitzgerald. Yeah. And the water to me represented just the creativity of life, that the pure artistry of doing what you're supposed to do. And so I felt like that was a waking dream. In that moment, I was wondering about it, and it was a waking dream that said, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be in Los Angeles. You're supposed to be playing characters. And so since that moment, I've just kept my nose to the grindstone, keep making characters. And that's how I ended up in Storybots. And that's how I ended up on your show, with you starting it with Emmy nominated. Like, I never in a million years thought I would be here. I don't know where I thought I would be, but yeah, I just am still surprised that I get to do this, and that I'm given permission, and that the universe supports me in doing this. And the universe still gives me a kick in the butt constantly to make sure that I keep doing it.
Oh, Erin, what a beautiful eulogy. Is that eulogy, or is that something that people do? I just sure. That's the word that just came to my head.
I like it.
You tell what does it actually mean? Now, this is me finding out.
Oh no, but that was interesting.
This is me just eulogy.
Oh,
it's a eulogy.
Eulogy. Is eulogy something that you say at when somebody's passing over to the other side?
It is. Sorry, I just thought about like a really lovely story.
Well, I'm gonna take that like a rebirth, right? The end of everything before this moment, which is a form of death. Everything is before this moment is complete, and then I'm rebirthing now. So eulogy, actually, I like that you picked the word eulogy. Why not? Because I get to rebirth. I'm about to start the second half. Yay. So let's just say that was perfect, because I kind of dig that. I like the ending of things and the rebirth of things. I think life is a beautiful cycle. The phoenix from the ashes kind of imagery. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. Wow. So when you say not transform, I need to transform a Storybots. That's how not switched on I am.
I'm not mad at you. This is all really fun journey.
I know. I'm just trying to think, because my cheeks hurt from smiling. My headphones are too tight. I don't know what's going on, but
let's go with it.
Yay!
Let's just go with it. We're gonna roll with it, baby. Roll with it.
Rolling. How did you get cast in Storybots? Was it just a general audition, or how did it get?
It was a general audition with these two creators that had nothing to do with the animation industry, in the sense, like, they were working at they created Jib Jab, which was a electronic card company. They were the guys who kind of created Flash animation back in like the early 2000s. They created it, and it was such a big deal, and so that was the company they were in. They had never made a cartoon before outside of like little kind of like flash animations.
Yeah.
But the Greg and Evan were sitting around watching. They had children around the same time. They're brothers that are close in age, and they were watching children's content in the 2010s, and they couldn't stand what they were watching. They were like, this is so painful as a parent to sit through. This is all they remembered was all the Jim Henson stuff they watched as children, and there was nothing like that for them as parents with young children, and they found it like absolutely mind-numbingly melting, and they were like, that's it. We have to make something. There's a need. There are people like us. We can't be the only parents who want to sit down and watch a show with their kids and there's nothing that they can enjoy that's educational. So they created the IP for Storybots as an educational tool, and they were giving away content for free to teachers to use in their classrooms and everything. So they started with kind of like little Storybots educational cartoons, little songs and clippets and boop boop boop. Yeah. And then they decided to move on to create Ask the Storybots. They found investors and they moved on to that. And then from there, they just went through the whole old school I guess we contact agents and we have people audition. So I was one of the many, many, many women who auditioned. And I remember the callback was actually going to Jib Jab Studios to meet them in person, which nobody did anymore. Like nobody does in-person callbacks anymore because everything is MP3, so nobody sees you.
Yeah.
I'm from a generation where if I went in the room for a callback, I booked the job. I don't know why that is, but when I'm in person in front of someone, I book the job. When they see what I do, I book the job. So it's been much more difficult to book because I'm not in the room. So people don't see what I do. So going in the room, I had that confidence of like, I'm going in the room. I generally book the job when I go in the room. And I went in the room and I did what I remember. I was, and there was an entire monologue for Bo, and she was just going off. And I felt like they had a description of who she was, and immediately it fit with my heart very clearly. And I was very excited. And the Saint Elise, and then I was really, we're going to go to France. It was going to be art. And I just like, we riffed off of each other, and not just the character wasn't just a great fit, but how I was with them. Like we all were on the same page. Again, the same feeling I had sitting next to Yuri Lowenthal, where I immediately knew this is a long lost brother. I know him. I had the same feeling with the Spiridelis brothers. And so I wasn't surprised when I booked that job. I was kind of like, I feel like that feels right. That just feels right. So, but yeah, I did. It was like an old school, here, have the audition and hope for the best.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. And also another thing that surprised me is that you worked on Batgirl Year One, which is that emotion comic. It has Kate Higgins is in it, Neil Ross is in it, Keith Silverstein's in it, or Silverstein. I do apologize if I said his name wrong, and Lex Lang as well. Do you remember doing that?
Yeah, I do.
Wow, can you remember who voice directed you for it?
I remember the people in charge of that project. I was working with them, and I knew them. So I was the first person attached to the project. I knew the animation studio, and then the animation studio was working with a producer.
Yeah.
So the animation studio brought me in, and so I was Batgirl originally, and I was reading all the stuff. And then when they wanted to, they were working with the third party, and the third party was like, no, we're going to change it. So they cast the rest of the cast and changed my position. And then they also kind of cut the animation studio out a little bit. Like, I feel like there was a lot of miscommunication going on.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what happened. I don't remember who voice directed it. I remember it being a lot of egos were not happy. I remember that my being, I remember just trying to stay professional and make everybody happy at that time. I'm like, whatever you guys need. But I remember somebody, I feel like I don't know. I don't understand what happened with that. Actually, I really don't understand what happened with that. There was a lot of stuff that went on with that was very strange and unusual. And yeah, my relationships with people shifted after that job, and I didn't quite understand what was going on. Yeah, it was really, I still don't know. It was probably men being men with men, but I'm not let in on what happened behind closed doors. But and I was just being an actor who, like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Who's in charge? I couldn't tell who was in charge anymore. I thought my friends were in charge, and then these people said they were in charge. I'm like, well, okay, well, I'll do whatever the job wants me to do. But I think people who, I don't think it was a good experience for them. It was a great experience for me, but I don't think it was a good experience for them.
His downhill voice director was Mr. Kelly Ward, also known as Putsy in the original.
Oh, that's right, Kelly Ward.
Yeah, he's really lovely guy.
Kelly Ward he directed that. Yeah. It was the first time I met him.
I think it's his only DC project. Yeah, he's ever done. Have you worked with him?
Yeah.
Did you work with him after that?
No. Like I said, whatever was going on there, it wasn't. I don't know what happened and what was going on, but it didn't feel kind, and it didn't feel like Storybots. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It didn't feel kind and loving, and it felt like I think somebody made somebody angry somewhere, and I don't know, wasn't privy to it, and I don't know what happened. And nobody communicated anything to me, and I don't think it had anything to do with me. I was just a hired gun. But it was strange. It was a strange experience that I still don't understand.
Yeah, that's okay. Actually, I was going to ask this before, but it just came out my head. No, not came out my head. Went out my head, and it's just come back in again. I know, obviously, you talked about Andrea Romano. Where did you first meet her? Did you ever do a show with her?
I did a workshop with her. Yeah, I did.
A workshop with right? Her. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I took one of her workshops when I first moved to LA through the union. Nice. I think I signed up for, and I did workshops with Sue Blue too. Because clearly these were women I looked up to and I admired and wanted to learn from. So I, of course, went to study under them. So that's how I met Andrea Romano. I never worked with her. I never worked with her. I feel like she tried to work with me, but my visa hadn't come through yet. I remember she tried to book me on something, but I hadn't gotten my visa yet, and that project wasn't willing to sponsor me for the visa.
Ooh.
So that didn't work out.
Ooh. Yeah. What could have been? Really nice.
It's hard being an immigrant. It is. It's difficult. Like, you can't get a visa until you get a visa, but you can't get a visa until you get a job.
Yeah.
So it was a real catch-22. So that the job that hunted me down and gave me my visa, and that Margaret Tang was involved with, that it was a bigger deal because there was such a missed opportunity with whatever that was going on, what that happened with Andrea Romano, that I clearly wasn't destined to work on.
Yeah.
Because I believe that what is yours can't miss you. What is meant for you can't miss you. And if it misses you, then it wasn't meant for you, period. No dwelling on things.
Right, Erin. Now it's the big question that I ask everyone at the end of my show, and I want to know this. I am dying to know this. Right. Okay. Here we go. Right. My big question to you is: what is your most memorable moment from a recording session? Could have been from when you were in Canada or in America. So, do tell. Did I say something?
No, I don't know if I have an answer to that. I've had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of amazing experiences. So many. Having to pick one, my ADHD is kind of in an executive dysfunction of, like, I don't know which one to pick. They're all amazing.
As an autistic person, I relate. I can't have ADHD, but I'm autistic.
Well, I do have both. I have both.
Hey!
Yeah, I'm
Bo from Storybots is autistic. It's canon. There we go.
I'm a both.
Boom, lady.
I do both.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it.
That's where the echolalia comes from. There's got to be the autistic side.
I always
it's not
do it.
The ADHD
I always do
side.
it.
Yeah. No, that's legit. So my favorite. There's so many favorite. Okay. Oh, there's so many favorite moments. Okay. I'm gonna stick with Storybots just because it's easier for me. But I mean, standing in Village Studios with Fred Tatasciore to my right, Jim Meskimen diagonal.
Jim Meskimen, yeah.
Jeff in front of me and Judy freaking Greer diagonally from me here. And when I was looking at Jeff, I remember when I was 18 in my parents' house in Victoria, British Columbia, I had gotten word that Jim Henson had passed away. And I started sobbing because I didn't realize that I had unconsciously set the intention that my life's purpose was to work with Jim Henson. I had set it for myself early on as a child watching Sesame. I saw Jim Henson and I was like, that's the guy I'm going to work with for the rest of my life. And I was standing in the Storybot session, like just beaming with love because these are the humans I get to be around. And there's a vibration when you're around people who are so purely creative. It's this amazing vibration. And I was just blissed out. And I looked up at Jeff and Jeff was rocking a beard. And I realized that the person I had seen as a vision in my childhood wasn't Jim Henson. It was Jeff. Because Jeff looked like Jim Henson in that moment. And I had seen Jeff and with the beard and he looked like Jim Henson. And I was like, Jeff, you look like Jim Henson. And I realized it was prescient. It was prescient. And it was the same energy as Jim Henson. I was in the energy that I felt watching Jim Henson and his team, but it was me with my team and my destiny and where I'm supposed to be with the people I'm supposed to work with. So I feel like that is one of the best moments of my entire life.
That is really sweet, Erin, and what a beautiful way to end off this chat. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Amber.
You're welcome.
What a wonderful chat. Thank you for taking me down my own little memory lane. That was wonderful. It was really nice to revisit a lot of those memories and kind of put puzzle pieces together again from this vantage point, which is brand new.
Yeah. Where can we find you on the net? Social media, website?
Yes, I do TikTok, but I don't really post. I play video games. I play Skullgirls on TikTok. I live stream Skullgirls on TikTok. I'm live streaming the Talos Principle 2 on Twitch soon because I'm in that. I'm on X at Erin Fitzgerald, but I'm also on Blue Sky, Erin Fitzgerald, Instagram, Erin Fitzbadass. If you want to see my one-person show, fakeradio.net/shows. My one-woman show is The Woman of Oz, 27 characters, no costumes, no special effects, just me, 27 characters. And my website is erinfitzvo.com for all the juicy info. I think that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. This was very kind.
You're welcome. You're very welcome, Erin. To you at home, thank you so much for watching this episode of In Conversation with ATF featuring the lovely Erin Fitzgerald. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did filming it. And it's goodbye from me, goodbye from Erin and Bo and so many other characters that she has. Just thank you, Erin. Thank you for being a friend. All right, you take care, everybody at home, and we'll see you around. Bye. And cut.